Oh.
Happy Halloween! I'm so mad at the both of you right now.
We told Michelle we were dressing up today. Loser.
The only reason I don't feel really angry is that I knew well enough to not actually do like full costume and because I knew that you two would
like
fail
Mean
me.
Girls.
Like the idiot that shows up to the costume party and you're the only one. I mean, really?
I mean, it's
like nothing.
We're a sportsbook gambling website.
Oh, gamblers don't celebrate Halloween?
No kids are watching. Come on, we're not dressing.
Halloween's for kids.
Halloween's not even for kids anymore.
I can't believe you
me.
actually believed us.
What is
You look
wrong?
ridiculous.
I look awesome. Woo! I hate both of you so much, it hurts. Dodgers won the World Series, so you know what the good news is? Chandler doesn't get to go to a game.
Yeah, that hurts. That ruined my plans tomorrow night, but that game was, what a meltdown.
I've never seen a meltdown in sports like that in some
What
time.
was that? That was outrageous, but yeah, congrats to the Dodgers. That is awesome. And there's a little word on the street that we're going to go and get Soto.
I'll be honest with you, there's a shot of Juan Soto from the dugout when the Dodgers are out there celebrating where I went, oh, he's done. He's out.
Yeah.
He's not.
As he
staying.
should. Come on over.
That fifth inning was a collapse like I've not seen in quite some time.
There was a third pickoff. There was three errors.
Garrett Cole decided not to even back up first base.
Aaron Judge finally had me getting some hits. They just drops a fly ball.
Drops a routine fly ball.
That was awesome.
Never in my life. Anywho, yes, Dodgers are World Series champs. They will get the parade that they wanted so badly. I don't know when that's happening.
Are you trick-or-treating tonight?
I don't care for you at all. I'm so disappointed. All right, fine, let's talk some basketball. There was a lot of basketball, actually, last night. It was hard to see much because of the baseball, but Lakers and Cavs, that happened. Shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 5-0. Big win last night, 134-110. Evan Mobley with his 25. Donovan Mitchell had 24 points. LeBron had 26. Third time in franchise history that this team, Cleveland, has started this thing undefeated. I don't think you guys have not believed in them, but what are we feeling now?
This is an improved team that's playing together and that they're healthy. Last year they went through so many injuries, whether it was Donovan, whether it was Garland, Evan Mobley. They all seem to be healthy. They all seem to be having fun. And you got to give credit to Kenny Atkinson. As much as we praise J.J. Redick for a first-year coach doing the job he's doing, he's got these guys playing together. And when they play fast, they play efficient. They score 100. They give up 126 points a game. Or they score 126 points a game, which is second in the NBA, and they give up 106 points a game, so it's second in defense. So it's when they're playing both sides of the ball, they're young enough to there's not going to be real load management with this team either because they're fresh, they're young, they play together. So when you have a team that's athletic, Jared Allen last night, for some reason, just looked like a man playing with boys. He was tipping the ball to himself, dunking. They're a well-balanced team. Again, I think it's early, but you couldn't ask for a better start if you're Cleveland, and they looked really, really good last night. And
knowing Kenny Atkinson and the way that he likes to coach, he's maximized the talent that he has on his basketball team. They're going to play an up-and-down, fast-paced game. Even though Darius Garland didn't have his best night, they still were playing at a pace that's going to be great for the Cleveland Cavaliers moving forward. But it was just a great game to see them battle back and have a great game and beat the Lakers team with so much hype around other things that Michelle doesn't like to talk about.
And we'll get to it. I'm forced to do that.
Evan Mobley's one of those guys too, where like I've been waiting for like the big jump, right? The big leap. And I feel like this year is kind of that year. He's expanded his game. He looks stronger. He's always been bouncy and athletic. Now I want to kind of see him expand his game into that kind of Jaren Jackson, outside shooting, pick and pop, and he seems to be doing that. He's efficient. He's a guy that doesn't take bad shots. You don't have to play through him, which I think helps him. He's just a versatile guy that can fit in. He can play with good guards. He's unbelievable in pick and roll. He's great as a lob threat. So I look forward to him just to seeing his growth, and he seems to take a big step this summer.
I think Cleveland, what was it, like a 3-week stretch last season where they just couldn't lose a game? Like this.
When they were healthy last year, they were really good.
There is something great there that is happening right now. We'll get into it, Lou, since you're all sentimental and Hallmark cardy this morning. Yes, that LeBron and his kid did not play together, but Bronny did have a lot of chance in his favor. They wanted to see him out on that floor. He got out on that floor, and he got his first ever NBA points. It's finally done, another milestone he's accomplished. But he got to do it where he was born, where he grew up. That seems meaningful. Who wants to address it?
It was cool. I thought it was classy for the Cleveland Cavaliers to give him and I thought it was classy for them to give them a tribute video. It was a little slightly weird, but classy nonetheless, because, you know, usually those are reserved for, you know, guys that's at least played for the organization, you know. But then again, Bronny was born a Cleveland Cavalier. You know, his dad was already playing for this team when he was born. Everybody watched him grow up in that. I'm sure he was around the arena, sure he was around the organization. So it was just good to see again. Like, you know, these feel-good moments are great. If you're a father, I'm gonna continue to say it. These moments are just great to see, and I'm just happy that he was able to at least score, get some time in that game. And kind of put all of these things behind him, and I want to see the real journey begin.
Yeah, and as much as we make fun, this was a special moment because as great as LeBron is, he's always also claimed Ohio. He's always claimed Akron, whether he was in Miami, whether he was in LA. He's always been a Ohio-born, Akron-raised, you know, St. Vincent St. Mary guy who he's always repped. So I think this was the classy move for the organization to do. I think it shows respect for him. And again, I think this is just a special moment in time that's never happened before. But like we said yesterday, okay, he played in his first game, played in his hometown, got his first points. Now I think we put to bed everything and we can continue on, especially if you're the Lakers, and just continue to progress this season. But this is definitely an awesome feeling. And as far as Bronny goes, how he handled this, that's tough, man. You're getting chanted like you're a walk-on in college to come in the game. It's uncomfortable, and so I'm sure he doesn't love it. I don't know the kid at all, but it's a shitty situation. But he handled it very well. I'm glad he made his first shot and kind of got over that. But again, I think now he can wake up. Everyone else can just take a deep breath and just move on from the kind of this whole media swarm of him playing or when it's going to happen next, because now the focus should actually shift on the team that's playing.
For what it's worth, in 5 minutes, he had 2 points, 2 assists. Doesn't mean much to you, but that's a pretty good stat line for 5 minutes.
Great.
Yeah. But also, like, do you remember, like you're from Memphis, do you remember your first, like, point? Like, I don't remember my first points in Orlando.
Yeah, I probably had, like, 2 to 4 points.
No, but I'm saying your friend, like, I don't remember, do you remember your, like, I don't, it's not like it's meaningful, at least for me, it wasn't, like, my first point in Orlando. Like, I don't remember that.
You're not as sentimental.
Well, yeah, I think I remember just my first 2 points in general. But
in general, yeah.
You know, you think about that first trip home but your first 2 points.
Home. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't think about, like, your first 2 points there.
And it's a different feeling, too. Going home and playing is different. Like, you know everybody is there to see you, and aunts, uncles, cousins. So there is a lot of pressure that you almost put on yourself because you want to play well, where you, like, he grew up going to games. I grew up going to Orlando Magic games. So it's kind of a surreal feeling when you're playing in that arena with that jersey on. So it does apply a little bit more pressure. But again, for his sake, and for the team's sake, and for your sake, I'm just glad it's over with, and we can stop talking about it. But
and my heart.
The story of this game was that the Cavs beat their ass and played really, really well. Went to 5 minutes.
That is the story of this actual game.
Yeah.
Let's not get that twisted.
But this was a cool moment.
Big win. All right, let's move on. Celtics Pacers. SIAKAM. Did not see me saying that.
Big shot.
Woo! Overtime win over the Celtics. Got him. They can be beat. He had 29 points, 11 rebounds. He also hit all the buckets to tie it up at 132. Then he hits the game winner. Mathurin had 30 points, 11 rebounds. Jason Tatum had 37. That's not so shabby. But the Pacers did have a 24-point lead. So that, if you want to start to nitpick, we can definitely start there. But then they didn't fold. And I suppose that is the story here, right, Lou? To give up a 24-point lead but still come out victorious. It's not what the Yankees were able to do. It's the opposite.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's an impressive win, but it's a good quality win. You know, you're beating the top dog, and they take you to the length, make you go into overtime, make you make some big shots. But, you know, give them guys credit. They were able to hold on, get a win in overtime, but 1 or 2 possessions here or there, we're having a completely different conversation today. But I think Indiana hurt us. You know, we were critical of them and not bringing it. This is a game that they came and they got out against the Boston Celtics, got a big lead, and was able to hold on for a good overtime win. But I wouldn't say it was impressive, but it was a quality win.
Yeah, by the way, they folded. They tried to give this game up, and as resilient as Boston was, and you know, the Pacers at the end of the day, they gave up 38 points in the fourth quarter to even allow this to happen.
That's a crazy number.
It's not ideal. So they had their chances to keep their foot on the gas, to be a mature team and kind of end this game. And credit to the Boston Celtics, they didn't hang their head. When I changed the channel, I was going back and forth, obviously, with the World Series. This game was over.
Right.
I don't know what happened in that fourth quarter, but clearly, you know, they were turning the ball over. They weren't getting as good a shots as they were early on. But to give up 38 points, you know, when it matters the most, is a little frustrating. But you also got to give them credit. They got to overtime. They made big shots. SIAKAM kind of face up, hit that big game winner there. Was huge. And they kind of had their number last year, too. So the Pacers seem to play good against good teams.
Can we talk a little SIAKAM here? Obviously Tyrese Halliburton is the guy, the face, but Pascal SIAKAM, no slouch, two-time All-Star, and he did hit all these big shots. Are there days, can we even say, I don't even know how to ask this, is he the best player?
On the team?
Is it a 1A, 1B?
No, I think Halliburton is the best player on the team, but he's also their point guards. There's going to be certain nights where he's not one of these stars that's aggressive, that's going to go out there and kind of hunt down shots and put up these gaudy numbers. He's kind of a pass-first, playmaking, big guard that SIAKAM probably really enjoys playing with because he can set the table up for him, he can space the floor, he can get out in transition. He's unbelievable in pick and roll. So I think they're slowly starting to develop this chemistry where they do have that option of a nice two-man game. SIAKAM's always been solid, even if it's time in Toronto where he can kind of, take a pick and roll, take the smaller guy, shoot over him, back him down. He's clearly worked on his outside, his perimeter shooting. So he's one of the more versatile players in the league that not a lot of people talk about and the average fan probably has never even heard of. But he is a very, very good player, but at the end of the day, this is Tyrese Halliburton's team.
Absolutely. And look, but he's added that three-pointer to his game.
Yeah.
He's able to space the floor. He's given him another option on the offensive end now. It's still going to be Tyrese Halliburton's team, but for him to add to his bag, it's going to help Indiana in the long run. So hopefully they can string some wins together, and it'll be on the back of Tyrese and Pascal.
All right, so you got Jason Tatum. He hits the three to send it to overtime. Then he also misses a three with 32 seconds left. It's just the hot and cold of it all, Lou. Which one do you remember more?
Honestly, to me, it's going to be the three to take him into overtime. That's just the way I look at it. Makes and misses are a part of the game, but this right here, in transition and a step aside three to put your team in that position, that's also a tough look. But listen, if you're the Boston Celtics, you're talking about a team that's averaging 50-plus three-pointers in the game. You're going to live and die by some of these shots. And unfortunately, that one wasn't the one to go down. People are going to pick it apart however they want, but that big three, to take it into overtime after being down 24 points, that's going to be more memorable to me.
Yeah, I think of that one. I think that was, when they needed it the most. You can't even look ahead the overtime because without this shot, they're not there. And so the fact that he also had, 37 points and whatever it was, 37, 8, and 4. He's proven a point this year, and he seems to be getting better every single game. I don't love the 5 of 18 from three. That's not really his game, but again, this is the way they're playing. This is the pace which they're playing. They're shooting early and often threes, so you can't knock him for missing a shot. Honestly, Jaylen Brown had a decent look, too, there at the end of overtime, so I think you can't complain. When you put that much into this comeback and you continue to fight and be resilient, you can't nitpick on one or two plays, but the shot he hit in the end of regulation was not easy. Step back left, and the one in overtime, too, step back right. Neither of these were easy shots, so you can't really knock them. Listen, they weren't going to go 82-0.
Yeah, you got to lose something.
Got to lose at some point.
Got to lose at some point. And that's not a bad team to lose to, despite records at the moment. So we had another game last night.
Yikes.
Yowza. Spurs, Thunder. Thunder remain undefeated. 105-93. Chet Holmgren with 19 points. Lou Dort, 20 points. And Wembanyama, it's a weird one. 6 points. He was 1 of 5, had 8 rebounds. Chet coming in hot in this one. 15 of his 19 points were in the first half, including a lob that he blocked against Wemby. He lost Rookie of the Year to him last year. This is obviously a rivalry that will be around for quite some time, Lou.
Is it?
I think it will be. Yeah, we'll get to that because Wemby is petty, and that's the kind of emotion I like. But does Chet get extra up for these, you think?
No, I'm looking at it different. I think they're both going to do their thing. I wouldn't try to put them in the same category as rivals. I think Wemby is going to have an opportunity simply because of the position that he's in San Antonio to accomplish a lot more things than Chet will be. If Chet carried that into the summer with him into this game, I would say let it go, bro. You don't have another opportunity to win Rookie of the Year. It's gone. It's out. He was the clear winner. I thought that Chet was going to win it until Wemby continued to add on stats to what he was doing last year. But if I'm him, I'm just using the motivation to try to win a championship. I'm not getting into the petty wars of worrying about who's the Rookie of the Year and these things and so forth.
I don't think you saw the reports about I think it's just coming from the other side of the camp here. But by the way, I love the fact that if this is a rivalry, we're talking about the two like alien-like figures
For real.
in the NBA that are extremely tall and talented and young, and they're going to be in this league for the next 10 to 15 years. So.
Wait, should we tell him what the other side of the thing is?
Yeah.
So allegedly, Wemby won't even say Chet's name. And so when people say I'm not, I have emotion when sports are concerned. Like I don't get into the sappy sentimental. I like the petty, just downright sort of petty stuff.
He won't say his name?
If this is true,
Okay.
and he's 20 years old, I kind of love that.
So you know what confuses me a little bit is I don't even know how to begin to say something bad about Wemby because he's unbelievable.
But
He's
you're
a
gonna
generational
try.
talent. I'm gonna try to say something bad about it. And
Okay.
he was even unbelievable for France in this summer.
Absolutely.
Like I watched him and I was like, holy shit, this guy even took his game to a next level after watching what he did this summer. He's gotten off to a sluggish start, and all the reports this summer that he added 20, 30 pounds of muscle, and I don't see that. I don't see the results for it. He still can get buoyed a little bit. They're still extremely physical, and when you're talking about, there's reports before the game, he won't even say Chet's name. He took 5 shots. No way, no world should this guy take 5 shots on this team.
That's not a rivalry to me.
But I understand too that every game plan in scouting report is tailored. When you play the San Antonio Spurs, it is how do we stop Wemby? So he has an extreme disadvantage when you look at him and you look at Chet, who might be the 3rd guy on the scouting report after Jalen Williams and after SGA. So it's could be a rivalry because of the way they play and the year they came in together and things like that. And just by physical stature, they're very, very similar. But if this is a rivalry.
What's the origin of this rivalry? Just rookie of the year?
Don't like somebody?
Or is that something that's being created out there?
I don't think there's more. Well, look, maybe there's
Like
a personal thing we don't
who
know
are the
about.
people that who are the reports?
It was a guy.
There's a guy that
Was it
said
you, Beadle?
something- No, I didn't. Why am I
guy
starting
actually
it?
said it on video.
Look,
He's
the
like,
story-
Wemby won't even say his name.
He won't say his name like that. I didn't make that up. That's out there. And by the way, he left this game for a minute where I started to panic that he was hurt. Who knows? But the idea that a 20-year-old is already at the point where he won't say somebody's name, I love it. I
That's
hope it's
even
true.
more confusing of how in this game you won't say this guy's name. So when you want to bust his ass, you take 5 shots.
I agree. So I don't know. Is it more to it? Is he hurt? Did something happen? Why is he only?
He hasn't looked great, and that's obvious. Their team, we knew they're not going to win a lot of games. They're not that good of a team. It is a project with this team. It is a project to keep him healthy and to keep him developing. But I thought he would start off extremely dominant, and I thought that he would be like he did this summer. He looked unbelievable. I haven't seen any change in his body, also physically. So I don't know where the 30 pounds went. So like I'm just a little bit confused by this. But again, the whole game plan is to double team him, stop him, and so it's going to be challenging all year long until he gets some pieces around him to actually compete.
This is the most quiet rivalry I've ever heard of.
I think it's just beginning.
Then what is the best player rivalry?
I think it's just starting.
I'm not rolling.
Is there
Best
one that
player
is
rivalry
good?
now? I kind of like the Luka, Devin Booker situation in the playoff. Joel and Jokic, it's not really a rivalry either, but they're both bigs and they're both dominant. There's not really that one rivalry, but I would say probably those two would be the only ones I can really think of.
I'm trying to pull up pictures
Maybe
of Victor
Cat and
Wembanyama
Embiid,
to
maybe?
see if he looks.
Cat and Embiid have their thing.
What about Rudy Gobert
Does
and like
Rudy
everybody?
and
world?
Draymond count? Does that count?
Draymond and Rudy don't count because I feel like they have a beef with kind of everybody, but
Yeah, maybe
there's not really that one. What are you trying? What are you?
I'm trying to tell you, like, if he gained 25 pounds of muscle or not.
I hate these reports too.
The problem is when you're
this
that
is like the
tall,
thing you
like-
say when you're young in the league too. Like, oh, I spent all this time in the weight room. I put on all this weight. Like,
Well, he looks, but he's also flexing more there. When you're 7'4", whatever he is, 25 pounds is like 3 pounds to someone else. You can't really tell much of a difference.
and
I
when
have
you're
no
the
idea.
Spurs, like, what are their expectations this year? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Just keep Wemby healthy? Like, keep play in. So they have realistic goals to. So
Put 30 pounds on to get into play.
yeah.
Should have kept
He's
eating what you
20.
eat. Oh, okay.
And he doesn't have the same team as, like, we're talking about an Oklahoma City team where SGA had a really off night and they're still.
But also
very
now that he's
easy to
got
win.
vets, he's got Chris Paul, he's got Harrison Barnes, he's got Zach Collins, he's got vets around him too. So they did add pieces to kind of get better, but they aren't playing better.
Okay, it's like 4 games into the season.
If we praise the Cavs for being 5-0, we have to talk about the teams that
But
are 1-3.
5-0 is 5-0.
And 1 and 3 is really bad.
You know what? We're going to check back in like 3 months, and we're going to see. They're going to be headed towards the plan. I can already feel it.
The play at goals.
That is goals. You have to start somewhere. Knicks, Heat. All right, Kat. Big Nick night for him. 116-107 in the win. He had 44 points, 13 rebounds. Tyler HERRO had 34. He was 8 of 13 from 3. But the 44 points, Lou, that's the big one. Most points by a Knicks center since Patrick Ewing. Are we looking at at the game plan here? We play through Cat always?
Absolutely not. But no, you don't play through Cat, but you do utilize Jalen Brunson and you play with him. You know, a lot of those clips right there, you saw that's a two-man game, and you use his strength for him to be able to pick and pop, to be a three-point threat, and to put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. Use those things as your strong suits. I still think this is a Jalen Brunson-led team, but Cat being in all of the actions, that's going to make them very dangerous down the line. Yeah,
I'll say that last pick and roll play they had there, that was because Karl Anthony Towns picked and popped and knocked one down before that. So now the very next play, Bam is scared to show. Now Brunson all of a sudden has space. Now he's got more room to operate. So when you have the luxury of having this duo and this two-man game, it kind of opens up the floor because you give them both opportunity to kind of get hot, and whoever gets hot, you ride them. And you can play through those two.
Excuse me.
God damn it. You can play through those two. And the luxury also is when you have guys like OG and Mikal Bridges, those are versatile, great players that you don't ever have to play through. That's not their game, right? They are there to do all the little things. They're there to cut, to run, to move, and they're going to happen to have 30, 40-point games one night just playing within their offense. But when you have a duo like this that is so good in pick and roll, they both can shoot the ball. It's hard to cover. What do? Do you blitz the pick and roll? Do you stay back and hedge and let Jalen Brunson kind of go downhill on you? Do you let them pick and pop with Cat? There's so many options that this two-man game has.
You're on fire, Chandler.
You told me I needed to carry the show today. You're sick. My number's been called. Give me the ball, Beadle. What next?
Okay, good. You want to talk Tyler HERRO?
No.
Well, you're gonna. Led his team in scoring, and we don't really say much about any other people at this moment, but we got Tyler HERRO and Bam. Is that the team now?
I mean, Jimmy Butler, listen, he's always going to be there. Tyler HERRO, people forget how good he was. He was unhealthy last year. He was dealing with a lot of things, but he has always been a bona fide bucket. He's a great ISO player. He gets to his mid-range. He can step out and shoot the ball. He's kind of a big scoring point guard, so he can do it all. So he needs to be elite for this team to have any chance this season, but it's good to see him healthy. Terry Rozier's got to continue to get in the mix, develop for this team. But this team, they're lacking something. I don't know what it is because they have young guys, they defend, they have that Heat culture where they're going to be tough, they're going to take it to you. So they're definitely missing something just in the competitive Eastern Conference right now. I don't think they have enough, but again, last year I kept saying, oh, they're going to turn it on in the playoffs, and they didn't. So now I'm kind of off that, but yes, when you have Bam and you have Jimmy Butler and you have Tyler HERRO, you have enough to win any single night.
Yeah, something's missing, and I feel like once they missed it last year, you're kind of like, now you almost have to make a big change, but they didn't, and I really don't understand.
You know what else, Lou? I couldn't help but think.
I'll kill you.
The Jimmy Butler comments, when he played the Knicks, and it would be a different result.
Pat Riley got mad at.
Playing, and that whole kind of created and started the whole Pat Riley beef. This was the first time that the Knicks have played him since, so I feel like this was also kind of a message to prove, like, all right,
you think
you played, and we can still beat your ass. So I think there's also some fuel there, which started that whole.
Yeah, he did say a lot of stuff. Pat Riley was mad at him. It's just kind of weird dysfunction going on right now. You got that weird statue. Things are odd in South Beach at the moment. We do have Pelicans Warriors. Warriors are 4-1. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's their second straight win without Steph. Buddy Hield, 21 points. Draymond had 14 and 5 blocks. Zion, 12 points. He was 5 of 20 from the field. But the 4-1 start here after missing last year the playoffs. Are we a little bit surprised by the start, Chandler?
I'm not surprised because they played the Pelicans twice, the Jazz, the Blazers, and the Clippers. So I think their schedule has been very much in their favor. And now, no matter how you look at it, though, yes, they are 4-1. And this addition of Buddy Hield has been fantastic. He's always been a great shooter. He's always been kind of in trade rumors. They finally get him. And in this system with Steph Curry, he's thriving. He's averaging over 20 points a game. He's shooting the ball at a high clip. So I think he is a great piece. Obviously, we don't know how serious Steph's injury is. Andrew Wiggins missed the game last night, but this is a team that has to be all hands on deck. But they're finding ways to win games with a lot of guys that people might not have heard of either. There's some guys that are getting some minutes, that are getting some opportunity right now with guys out, and they're winning games. So easy schedule, hard schedule. At the end of the day, the Warriors are 4-1, and I don't think a lot of people expected that.
I don't think so either. But on the Pelicans side, though, they have got an injury problem, some pretty big ones. They got swept last year in the first round. Murray and Murphy both out at the moment. Lou, what is the ceiling for this Pelicans
I still think
team?
they got enough. You know, obviously, without those two guys being in the lineup, you know, they're going to have their struggles. But Brandon Ingram, give him credit. You know, he's playing lights out right now. He's doing everything to keep this team afloat, even though they're sitting at 2-3 early in the season. This is nothing that a 2-game win streak can't fix. But without DeJounte being at that point guard, Trey Murphy being at that wing, I think those guys have done a good job, and give Zion credit. He's been available as well, you know. So I think they turn this thing around once they get everybody back on track.
Yeah, they have enough if they're healthy. The question is, can they stay healthy? Can Zion stay healthy? And when you look at the Western Conference, the only 3 teams that I really don't think are going to make a push for the play-in are the Portland Trailblazers, the Spurs, and the Utah Jazz. Besides that, it's all up in the air. You look at teams like the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, they're all going to have a fighting, even the Spurs, honestly, are going to have a fighting chance to get in there to that 10 seed. So it's a deep conference. I think the Eastern Conference with Boston has an advantage. But I think a lot of these teams are going to have a chance to sneak into that play-in.
Odds to make the playoffs. That's not...
That
seems weird.
I'd go the other way.
Yeah, that seems it would be going the other way. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're just calling him our Portland superfan. Oh, and he's...
I like that hat.
Never disappoints. Ian Karmel when we return. He is back. I mean, the hat is everything, Ian. Ian Karmel joining us now. He's a comic. He's host of the podcast All Fantasy Everything. Where'd you get the hat?
I like that hat.
This is a hat made by a company in Portland called Trailblazers, who make Portland Trailblazer related merch. Ball don't lie.
I like it. Can't see your head.
Shout out
it's
to
awesome.
Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
The ball didn't lie last night either. It was beautiful.
Well, here we go. You know what? We'll get to all things. I just love that you are our resident Blazers super fan. But you were at the game last night at the Intuit Dome. I'm so obsessed with this place. I will finally get to see it on Monday. Tell me about the building.
It was awesome to be at the most important win involving a team from Los Angeles last night. The Trailblazers overcoming the Clippers.
Clearly.
It was beautiful. The hater in me wanted to go in there and pick it apart, but the Intuit Dome, once you get past how terrible the app that they make you download to get in there is absolutely beautiful. The app is terrible and froze like 6 times, and I had to uninstall it and reinstall it. And it's like harvesting all of your information. Like it wants to know what your face looks like, how often you're cheering, when you get up to use the bathroom. Like I think the app knows if I have pre-diabetes just based on how many times I peed last night.
I can't go there.
Ozempic.
I can't go there.
Wait, can I ask a question though? Because
I'm gonna get caught red-handed.
yeah, you're not.
Absolutely.
But Ballmer was real big on sort of like making sure certain sections, specifically the wall, doesn't have opponent fans. Like, how do they deal with you?
How do they police that?
Yeah, where do you have to sit in a specific section because you're rooting for the other team?
Can you sneak
They
into
made
that
me
wall?
watch. They made me watch from the bathroom. I was seated in one of the 1,600 bathrooms in the Intuit Dome with the other Blazer fans cheering.
The other Blazer fans are all sitting in there.
What gets me is the noise thing. How they reward the loudest fan.
It's a lot.
Tickets to next, but they're also said, but we're not listening to your conversations. I don't know how do those both work.
I don't think they do. I think they're lying about not listening to your conversation.
We're going
They're lying about something. They're either not measuring the noise or they're listening to it.
No, this is straight up grid.
I saw Joe Cronin sitting in the audience last night, too. So they definitely know what the Blazers' draft strategy is going into the next season. I think the Clippers and the Blazers might be drafting around the same spot.
Yeah, what is that draft
bad.
strategy? Who are we going to take the number 1 pick?
Yeah, I think we know.
I hope Cooper Flagg's available is the draft strategy, I think.
Ian, they're now 2-3. And before the season, you tweeted that the Blazers would go 20-62.
Brilliant. I like
this
that.
season.
Yeah.
Are we still locked into that record? What do we think?
We
Better or
only got
worse?
17 more to go to make me look like Nostradamus. It's an exciting time. We're 18. What do we know? We're 2-3. 18.
Yeah, there we go.
Listen, I would like us to go 20-62. I think it would be good to get another good draft pick, but the team might be too talented. Sterling Scoot Henderson is playing much better. His real name, Sterling Henderson, might be even cooler than Scoot Henderson, by the way. He sounds like a law firm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think he should go by Sterling.
I do too.
Maybe when he's 30, he starts going by Sterling Henderson.
That's what it is.
And
When he's
jumps up
mature.
yet another level.
Yeah. Scoot.
I'm feeling good. Scoot has been playing really well. Danny's good on defense. The Blazers won last night, even though Jeremy Grant, arguably our best player, didn't have his best game. That's what's weird about the NBA right now, right? That even these like lottery teams are full of actual NBA players, except for the Washington Wizards.
Wow.
Like,
Somebody's going to get hit.
So obviously you're optimistic about it still. You still are finding ways to have joy watching this game. They haven't had a winning season since 2021 season. Like, you still obviously have fun with it? You still see the potential?
absolutely. If you can't enjoy the lean times, you don't deserve to enjoy the bountiful times, right? So there's little ways to enjoy this Blazer season. Watching Donovan Clingan try to adjust to how fast players in the NBA is, that's been an adventure. But I don't know. There's a bunch of bright spots on this team, and Shaedon Sharpe isn't even back from injury yet. And once that happens, and he's out there trying to dunk on Victor Wembanyama, you know, there's going to be yet another dimension to the season for us to enjoy.
I like that.
I like that you're an honest fan with the 20-62 prediction. So I feel like I know the answer to this, but are you good with the idea of let's just go ahead and tank for Cooper Flag?
It's like kind of asking, are you good with climate change? Like, I don't really have the power as an individual to change anything, and I just kind of have to accept it, right?
But some people are vocal. Like, when your team is, you know, destined for nothing, you're just like, yeah, I want us to suck because I want change.
I do kind of want us to suck, because the history of the Portland Trailblazers is not one of like free agents wanting to come to the Rose City and play there. We've never had luck with that. So it's either got to be through draft picks or trades. And what we have in front of us right now, I guess, are options for both of those things. So yeah, I think we're good. I think as an NBA fan, as long as your team has a direction and they're working in that direction, as a fan, you can be excited. You know, for a long time, it was trying to win with Damian Lillard and CJ and all those guys. And now it's not trying to lose, but trying to develop young talent, you know, and move in that direction. And I think they're committed to that direction, so I'm happy.
I still have nightmares of Damian Lillard in a Blazers jersey, for what he did to me.
Seems so long ago.
I know you do. I know you do.
Yes. Oh, just goddamn it.
So long ago.
So I got to ask you, have the fans embraced DeAndre Ayton yet? Like, I know he had a bunch of issues in Phoenix. He comes there. It's never been about talent in my eyes with him. I know he missed.
What was the thing last year?
That's why I don't know. Have you heard anything? I know he missed a game earlier because the neighborhood was too icy. Have they forgiven him for that? Like, what's the deal with him?
Going back to climate change, as long as the temperature slowly rises in the Portland metro area, I think Ayton's slated to play all 82 games this season.
That was one of the funniest things.
And win 20 of them.
I've never heard that excuse, ever. Although I heard it from, like, actually I have worked with people who couldn't make it in because of ice.
Here's the thing. They don't salt the roads in Oregon because they don't want it to run off into the rivers and hurt the salmon spawn, which is a noble thing to do.
Yep.
So the ice does get gnarly, but somebody like DeAndre Ayton, I think, can afford snow tires or chains, you know, but
chains.
I know he's from the Bahamas, so you're not used to that kind of lifestyle, right? So
yeah, it's true.
That's actually a fair point.
Has Portland embraced DeAndre Ayton? Not the way we typically embrace people that we really love, but he's starting to grow on us, you know?
Like that plant behind you? Like, I don't know what that's doing.
Like that plant behind. We've named it DeAndre Ayton. It's slowly creeping across.
Just making its way across the whole room.
Credit where credit is due. He was great for the last quarter of last season, and he's started off really hot this season. And if he keeps playing like this, he actually might ruin it because he might take us out of the Cooper Flag Ace Bailey lottery. And put us back like at the 8th pick, and then and then they'll hate him again. No, we're gonna love DeAndre Ayton if he keeps
I
playing.
like that you hedged your bet, throw it in Ace Bailey there too,
Oh,
just in case you fall to 2 or 3.
Or Ace Bailey. Anyway, like who's slated to go around 10? I'm gonna start watching those.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be ready. Just be ready for that. Look, we're not a hot take show necessarily. We do have Lou Will, who sometimes will chime in with Wilt didn't have 100 points and other things. But
I think he's more up.
I think it's more the off the court. Yeah,
off the court
Either way.
shenanigans.
Either way, the numbers are ridiculous.
Uncle Wilt did.
But we're about a week into this thing, maybe a little over. What is your hottest, spiciest take right now on this season?
Nuggets are cooked. The Nuggets are cooked. Like you're pulling into the drive-thru in McDonald's, and like that's how cooked they are. I think Jokic is still Jokic, but I think let me frame the hottest take like this. I think maybe everybody on Serbia is better than we thought, just based on how Jokic is playing. His Serbia team looked better. If you ran the Serbia national team out on the NBA court right now, I think they'd be playing better than the Denver Nuggets.
I mean, he's not lying.
Could you argue that?
I mean, no, they should have beat Team USA that one game, and yeah, it's dicey. I gotta agree with you. To me, they seem like a step slow. They seem Jamal Murray's kind of in a funk. You saw, and I think Kendrick Perkins, someone said, watch Jamal Murray playing without Jokic. He's a different player. He saw what he did in Canada, so it is a little bit confusing.
Like the magic's worn off.
When Jokic is off the court, they're scoring 65 points. You know, per 100 possessions, something like that. It's insane. Yeah. It doesn't even remotely resemble an NBA team. And that's terrible.
That is terrible.
KCP's in Orlando playing great. Like, they didn't really, the front office and the coaches don't like each other, it seems like. The young guys aren't playing well enough. It's sad times in Nuggets land. Thank God for Bo Nix. Otherwise, it would be a dark, dark day in Denver.
Shout out Sean Payton. Also, speaking of insane, the Dwayne Wade statue. I gotta ask you. Me and Beadle literally took Play-Doh with Q-tips and damn near, we were neck and neck with which one was better.
Actually, you could argue that ours were better. Actually.
What's your take on that? Because I see D Wade had creative, you know, he was involved. So I just don't get this.
I think the best way you can spin the statue for Dwayne Wade is it is a testament to how nice of a guy he is.
Oh, that's true.
Because if he went to visit the sculptors at the workshop, they showed him that, and he was like, great, good job. That's
Ian, it looks like Antoine Walker.
You're doing it.
It's crazy. I tweeted this already, but it got me in trouble with some Heat fans. I believe it earnestly looks more like Joe Cronin, Trailblazers GM, who refused to trade them Damian Lillard, than it does Dwayne Wade. I feel like somebody from Rip City infiltrated that workshop and pulled the ultimate prank.
I like the idea that he's so nice that he just sort of was like, you guys are really getting it done. Yeah. I love it. That's a good point.
He's such a supportive, loving dad that I think he carried that energy into the sculpting workshop.
He's a better man than me.
And then, absolutely, I would have chopped that. I would have snuck in there with a samurai sword and chopped the head off the clay model they were making.
Just tweak it a little, like, and also the video or the pictures that we've seen is him going in there before it's been bronzed. And so I think once they also bronzed it, it almost accentuated the worst parts of it.
Is it the worst? Is it worse than the Ronaldo one? We saw a Tupac one.
We've seen some bad. Lucille Ball was bad.
There's some terrible statues out there. Here's the thing about this the Ronaldo statue. It was at a random airport, right? It was just at like a random airport in Portugal. So that's bad. This is in front of where the Heat play.
This is top notch. This is supposed to be the best of the best. This is.
But are we not? I thought they were. I've heard rumors that like they're gonna redo it. Or did I make that up?
No, the guy came out and said no one else could have done a better job.
You could say that. They still could probably try.
Yeah, but we have eyes.
We can try to do it better if we want. I feel like it's not. This thing isn't lasting forever, is what I'm trying to say.
We need to send a bunch of college freshmen down there who are used to tearing down statues and get them to deal with the Dwayne Wade one, like they did with Abraham Lincoln or
unleash the frat boys on the South
listen,
SAEs are coming in hot.
In Olive Branch from Portland to Miami, we have a lot of people in Portland who are used to tearing down statues. Yeah. We did it for like 3 years straight in 2020. We will send them in a bus to Miami to tear down the Dwayne Wade statue for you. Oh. Just send them back with some Cubanos and some of that really good coffee.
What a bus ride that would be. Your podcast is all fantasy, everything. You and your co-host, you guys draft basically anything and everything. It's in the title. Last year, we asked you to draft things not to do at an NBA game. This time, worst sports statue of all time. You can't do Dwayne Wade. It's too fresh. And as a reminder, there is a Heisman Trophy that AI has.
Yeah.
Like that's.
AI's is this big outside of the arena.
It's cute.
It's so tiny, and his face is super tiny. But all the statues at the Sixers practice facility are small, so at least that helps that one. If I can go a pick from the heart, I have to pick, even though it's awesome on balance, but Shaquille O'Neal at Crypto Staples Center, the Lakers arena that doesn't have the Clippers at it. Him dunking kills me because it reminds me of the Western Conference Finals in 2001, the Kobe Shaq alley-oop.
Yeah.
That's a
Although
fair
I think
one.
it was Shaq
one
throwing
hand.
to Kobe.
Ah.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God.
so for you, it's personal. It's not.
It
Now it
brings,
hurts.
it brings up very direct trauma that I've yet to work through in years and years of therapy. But as far as like visuals go, I mean, it's hard to beat that Ronaldo one.
It is
That one's
pretty
really bad. Let me say this about the Dwayne Wade one. When I was on the Late Late Show, we pulled a prank on David Beckham at the LA Galaxy Arena, where we intentionally made like a terrible looking statue.
He was so nice throughout that whole thing too.
He could not have been nicer throughout it. And that statue that we made on purpose to look bad was only a little bit worse than the Dwayne Wade statue.
Where does that go, by the way? Like when you're done with a prank like that, where's that? Do you destroy it? Where is it?
We destroyed it. The head sat in our offices for the remainder of the show, and now I have no idea where it is. I think they buried it deep underground.
They're not even gonna arrest the guy that takes down the D Wade statue. They're gonna like
No.
give him season tickets.
They 100% are going to reward him.
Yeah. Send that dude like who pried the ball out of Mookie Betts' hand down to Miami, and
By
let's
the
just
way,
like let him go on a tour of destruction.
What a little segue you just gave me there. That was my next question for you, which also it turns out that it's Gronk's college
Of
buddy,
course
which
it is.
killed me even more. You said as an idea that this is the greatest thing that you've ever seen, which is, I mean, this just reeks of New York City Yankee fans and what they would do.
Yeah.
Reeks of a dude that doesn't do fouls.
Is this?
It reeks of a dude who probably reeks.
That's a great point.
What's your take on this? And by the way, what would be like an NBA equivalent of someone just taking the ball or taking someone's like shoes? Like what do you do?
I think the NBA equivalent is somebody going full Nick Nolte and Blue Chips, taking the ball and punting it into the stands. You know, I would love to see that. And honestly, Trailblazer fans, this is the perfect year for it. You know what I mean? You're not ruining anything.
They're helping you out.
Yeah. It was like as an idea. There's a moment for that guy, and I don't know how thorough his thought process is just in general, but
not very.
I think you know.
where he's holding the guy's glove and he's like, this is happening. I'm doing this. It's like
It wasn't quick either. This is
No, this stuff felt like 5 minutes.
it took a while. It looked like he was like prying open like the paper on like a sandwich that had been wrapped too tightly, or like a breakfast burrito. It was like
trying to get
really
a
getting
tennis
in
ball
there.
out of a dog's
Like
mouth.
a dog's mouth, just prying the jaw of a Rottweiler just open.
It is an amazing example of humans possessing free will, right? Isn't it? Where it's like
It's
you
too
can
good.
actually do that. There's nothing stopping you from walking into a grocery store, grabbing a gallon of milk and pouring it on the floor, other than you stopping yourself from doing it. And this guy, something broke in his brain.
Broke? I'd argue never was.
It might have broken at Arizona back when he was there with Gronk.
Yeah.
My favorite part,
Yeah.
though, and I know, Ian, you must have loved this as well, was not just his defense of himself was, that's my wall. I have to patrol my wall. Like, all right, soldier.
Oh, great, Jon Snow. Great.
But then I work in radio, and we had so many callers
want
calling in defending. Like, that's his job. Those are his seats. That's his air. I'm like, have I lost my mind?
If there was one guy on the Yankees, especially in the fifth inning last night, who had that kind of dedication to finding the ball, they might be headed back to LA for Game 6 right now. It's crazy. It's not your job. Your job is to sit there and eat 6 hot dogs.
Yeah.
And I think he did that job too. So just follow through on that. Focus on
Also,
that. Mission oriented.
I know they gave his tickets away from the game last night, but if he hadn't
They
had
did.
tickets, would they have like banned him for next season? Like, how'd that work?
I don't know.
Like-
Maybe. I always wonder how you even enforce the banning without. Not everybody's the INTUIT Dome where they have full facial recognition. Like, I feel like you could still sneak back into Yankee Stadium.
1000%.
If you wanted to.
Yeah.
Joe Mazzola has been giving us quote after quote already this season. I think winning a championship's the greatest thing that's ever happened for us, because now we get things like we're all going to die soon, and we want fighting back in the NBA, which I have loved. Let's just say right now, currently, as they all stand, the teams, 30 of them, have a battle royale. Who comes out on top?
Oh,
I have to think about
a
this.
fight?
Yeah, just full on scrap.
We're all pretty soft, man.
We?
God.
You are soft.
Who's the Miami Heat player who was the was the MMA fighter?
James
Is he still in the league?
Johnson. I think is he even on the Heat still? I think he's. I don't even know where he. But yeah, we talked about yesterday. He's like
That's
the
only
one where like
one guy.
NBA players know don't mess with that guy.
He's in Dallas.
Yeah, don't mess with Jay
Pacers.
Johnson. Pekovic has been
Like
out
the
of the league for a
Pistons,
while.
I think would be tough with
Pacers.
Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Durant. Like they're big, but
That's a good one.
and they got the culture of bad boys.
I almost feel like you
Not the
need
bad boys.
If we don't have guys that stand out, this is my theory. If you don't have guys that stand out necessarily as overtly tough, then maybe you go as young as possible. Because sometimes when you're young, you kind of don't think and you just do dumb things. Maybe that's the alternative to this. I don't know. But then we have Gigi Jackson on, and he's the sweetest kid ever, and I don't want him to get in a fight. Yeah. So I don't know.
Got to protect Gigi.
Which team has no French guys on it? There's got to be an NBA team left, right? I mean, there's
I don't know. They're everywhere.
They are actually everywhere. I think there's one
taking
for
over.
It's a rule now. In
What
the
I
NBA.
said is, Missoula, if you want the players to fight too, the coaches got to fight. The coaches got to fight as well. You got to hop in there.
You know he would.
Careful what you wish for.
That's what I want to see. I want to see Tibbs walk into center court like their face off.
Square up with like Spoelstra.
Oh, I do like that.
For ball, there's no jump ball. The coaches got to fight.
I'm back in.
I want to see Tibbs and Ty Lue having a who looks the most tired off. You know, just right there at center court.
Yeah.
Tibbs is charming. Do you agree with me that Tibbs is a charming person?
He does have a kind of penguin-esque charm to him. You know what I mean? There's a glint in his eye, I think, that makes him charming. He has to be, or otherwise people wouldn't play for 52 minutes a game for him, right? There has to be something in there.
He just had to find his people. I know today's Halloween. You can tell because I brought the spirit.
Yeah.
Someone
Yes, you
did
did.
not. What do you and it's big here in LA. Do you celebrate? You dress up? What's the plan? Are you already dressed up? Like, how's this work?
Oh no, this is what I was wearing last night. I haven't gone to bed yet. I've been celebrating. I've been celebrating the Blazers win for 12 straight hours.
Only
We're
guy in LA
celebrating-
that gave a damn about that game.
Yes, I was down at the Dodgers parade being like, and the Blazers too, right? Like, that's at Echo Park. We're participating. I got, shout out to Costco.
Hell yeah.
Full-size candy bars this year. I'm the full-size candy bar house.
Nice.
Come find me in Atwater Village.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked. And I'm dressing as, my wife is from Chicago, so I'm taking a break from the constant Portland hood.
Fine.
And we're going as Mike. I'm Mike Ditka.
Yeah,
Got the mustache already.
Actually, this is
Fits.
good.
Got the sweater vest.
Yep.
And she's gonna be a player. And we're having a baby in December, so she's pregnant.
Congrats.
We're painting the belly to look like a football. We're going full.
That's unbelievable.
Tell them what
Thank
you're
you
going to
very
be.
much.
We're Paw Patrol. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, so we're doing a Paw Patrol in Hidden Hills. Which
Perfect.
again,
For the
I told
next
Michelle
decade, probably.
in our neighborhood last year, they were handing out like green juice and iPhone chargers. So I was like, this sucks. This sucks. Where are the full-size candy
LA's
bars?
the worst.
I'm like, I hate LA.
Is there a Marriott in your neighborhood? What do you mean?
Dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's ridiculous.
Ian, this has been awesome. In about 3 months, when we do our check back in with the team, we're going to want a full update on all things Portland.
I'll be
Appreciate it.
here. Rip City. Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be back with some more Chandler and me. Lou, feel better.
You have to want to be that guy. And with his statements the other day, I don't think Joel wants to be that guy. I actually want him to take it personal. Like, you can't come out before the season's up and not playing back-to-back. Say it again. Spell it. S-O-F, capital T.
I mean, I don't know who's arguing with him.
Me.
What?
Me.
How?
Because here's the thing. Just because somebody is hurt, I don't think that makes them soft. I think there's a difference. And Shaq knows that as an athlete, as a player, who's someone's been banged up, someone who's been unhealthy for some part of his career. Joel Embiid works extremely hard. Joel Embiid wants to be playing more than anybody. And how quickly we forget how dominant Joel Embiid is and how he is that guy when he's on the floor. He's had an issue ever with his foot, with his body ever since he's came into the league. And he's put in hours and hours of work and still hasn't been able to be available, which I get is frustrating. And sometimes it comes off maybe soft or doesn't want to play, or you see a guy at a dinner and he didn't play that night and the fans react.
You
to the
hate
way.
that.
I hate it so much because they don't see the 10 hours of rehab that he was just doing before that. So I disagree with this. I think Joel wants to be out there, and when he was out there last, he was the MVP of the league and the most dominant player in the league. So you can't control injuries.
But hold on.
Now, the back-to-back statement, I don't agree with. I think that was a little silly. But also, you don't think that had something to do with the team? You think he just made that statement without the team or the doctors approving that statement?
But that's part of it. Sometimes self-awareness can be included under the umbrella
I think that was
of what
weird.
he's talking about.
I do think knowing him, if he's healthy enough on the first or second night of a back-to-back, I think he is going to play if he's able to play. Now,
I think it's a personality trait. Some people feel like crap and quietly just go about their business. They don't really tell or share about it. And then some people share everything. It felt like maybe he shouldn't have been so honest.
yeah, this was something that I think didn't need to be said. I think you just kind of get there and then see what happens and see. Especially this team right now, they're built to win right now, and a lot of that pressure and expectation is dependent on Joel Embiid's availability. So I think knowing that they need him in the postseason, so I think these comments were a little premature, but the idea that he doesn't want to be the man to me is silly.
Anonymous, I love it. I already love the beginning of the sentence. An anonymous NBA starter said that Jamal Murray is, quote, very easy to guard now.
The anonymous I hate. Like, put your name on it. If you're a starter also, like, I don't, anybody can say anything if it's anonymous, so I don't agree. Listen, it's easy to nitpick Jamal Murray. A lot of the praise he's gotten has been his postseason heroics. He's never really been a dominant guy. He's never been an all-star. It just shows you how he kind of struggles within the regular season, but he plays his best when it matters, which usually we talk about a good trait. Your guy Aaron Judge he did the opposite, you know? You know what I mean? So like it's give and take. Obviously you want your second best player, your best player on certain nights to do it throughout the season, but if it's an anonymous quote, like shut up, like put your name on it.
What are the odds that the starter in question is a starter who's never actually had a lot of playoff experience, if any at all? And so they're saying a comment like this, it's a little reckless.
Yeah, it's just, it's stupid. Like you could say anything without putting your name on it. I'm so sick of these reports from an anonymous
It's
GM.
not my favorite.
It's like, if you're gonna say something, put your name on it and say it with your chest.
Well, the good news is the next guy always does. Draymond Green said that he's gonna have fewer than 10 technical fouls this year. Maybe he's not playing half the season. What do you think this is? Like,
wow. I mean, I will say I've seen his interactions with refs this year, and they seem to be slightly more tamed and more professional. Now, again, if I was a betting man, I would probably bet the over.
I mean,
I have to see it. You're gonna have to show me a couple of times that you can, handle heated situations. And the fact that they are 4-1, they're gonna be in some games. Looks like they're gonna be more competitive than people thought they were going to be. There's gonna be plenty of opportunity for him to get riled up.
And you know how it is. Once he gets one, it starts to.
Yeah, and so the fact that he's saying this kind of shows some progress. Yeah, and some awareness as a person, but I'd probably still take the over.
I'd take the over. Let's go ahead and put that down. Hawks' #1 pick, Zachary Visache, I love saying that, said, back in France, I was super athletic. Now I'm just a regular dude. So there it is, the difference, the NBA.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of European players say how the talent level over there in Europe is just as good, and they play real basketball, and they move the ball, which is partially true, but that is also because they do not have the athleticism, the size, the speed, the strength that everyone that in the NBA has. So I couldn't agree with him more. This is a pretty obvious statement to me. The NBA is the best, greatest, most athletic league in the world. It's not even close. The whole idea of like a team in Europe being able to compete with the worst team in the NBA, sure, for maybe one game would it be competitive? Yes, but over the grand scheme of things in like the season, it's not even going to be close. So,
but wasn't it Luka that always said like, oh, it's much easier here?
Well, yeah, like it is, and because the rule, it's different over there. Like I played in Europe for 3 months. The first month I was horrible. It's so physical. There's handshaking. As soon as the ball hits the rim, you can knock it off. Like it's kind of a different game over there. And the way the NBA is now refereed, it's slightly less physical here. So it is different. Takes some time. But what's interesting about this kid too is he's his #1 pick. He's probably the least talked about #1 pick in the history of the NBA. And he's actually showed flashes. I saw him play. He defends. He does all the little things. He's athletic. He has shown some potential, but I couldn't agree more with his statement here. This is the best, most athletic.
It's also a smart move to say out loud, even if you don't all believe it. We got a quick prop party, Chandler and myself. What do you have?
You know what? What do I have? I have the Dallas Mavericks -6, and Klay Thompson stay hot. He is making it look easy. He looks like he is enjoying playing with Luka and Kyrie. I have him over 14.5.
That's a good one.
Which will probably be 5 threes and an easy cover.
I was gonna say his easy, quick money. Luka, triple dubs, and Mavs money line. Oh, what if we get them all wrong?
Well, yeah.
All right, Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol, let's go.
Nailed it. Does that mean you're not giving candy out?
No, we kind of go to this one street.
Worst person I've ever known.
Yeah, turn off all the lights.
That'll do for today. Hopefully, Lou will be back tomorrow.